let's bring in the aforementioned senior correspondent, Alicia Acuna, outside the home there. Alicia, we're watching these pictures from the Fox flight team. Clearly, there is something happening over there. We don't know exactly the nature of it. What can you tell us from your vantage point?
Hi, Kevin. I can set the scene here for you. About an hour and a half ago, we had a sheriff's deputy come up, park in front of the home. That caught everyone's attention. Now, not too long ago, within the last 20 minutes or so, we saw an unmarked vehicle with law enforcement drive up. The two spoke, they got back in their cars, and then we saw yet a third member of law enforcement walk up. 3 people walked to the back, 2 to 3 people walked to the back, and you can see them now. And they are what our drone team is describing to us. The Fox flight team is describing this as possibly like a manhole. I heard Jonathan say that it could be some sort of water drainage. Either one of those is possible. We're not quite sure. But they've been poking around in there, almost like they're looking for a sample of some sort. Looking into this area. We've been kept back just a bit, actually. Usually when they have some sort of activity here at the site of Nancy Guthrie's home, we're often pushed back. The media is pushed back so they can do their job. Clearly, they're not concerned about that right now because we've all been allowed to stay as law enforcement continues its work to the back. Kevin?
Let me ask you about the searches that were happening, Alicia, Saturday over at the home of Annie Guthrie. Have you heard anything about the nature of those searches?
Everything we've gotten has been from our Fox Digital team. They were on site when about 4.5 hours after Savannah Guthrie and her siblings released that most recent video. They arrived at that home. They were there for about 2.5 hours. And according to our Fox team on the ground there, they could see, they could hear clanking, some noise being made. They could also see in the garage area what seemed to be flashes of light coming from a camera. And then they noticed in another whole opposite side of the house, we don't know if it was a bedroom, but it was definitely a different room. They started seeing flashing lights, camera flashes, they assumed as well. They also noticed that someone inside the home put up something to cover the window, probably as to, to keep the media from knowing exactly what they were doing. They were in there for quite some time, Kevin. Also, one of the agents was seen walking out. He had latex gloves on. They had a white folding table. They also carried out, one of the agents, a brown paper bag. We obviously don't know what's in it, but when you look at those types of behaviors and what law enforcement was doing there for so long, the family wasn't there, we understand. The question is, was this evidence collection? Because the behaviors there, if you go back to any other case that you've covered, Kevin, you and I both, that looks and sounds a lot like evidence collection. As Jonathan mentioned, the Sheriff's Department reiterates, just as this is happening, that they will not be holding a news conference, that they won't be coming forward with any new information at this time. They still don't have a vehicle of interest, and they still don't have a person of interest. However, there is a tremendous amount of evidence collection going on. Obviously, there is a tremendous amount of activity happening as well. We have not had a news conference from the Sheriff of Pima County since Thursday.
And I understand, if the pictures were accurate, that apparently someone in leadership over there was at a basketball game, which is probably not the best look for the department, but I'm not certain if that's actually been verified. But let me ask you, while we have you, Alicia, I know that local news has been a bit of a repository for information regarding alleged demands, alleged requests made. Is that also happening in local Spanish TV, to your knowledge? And what, if anything, can we glean from the fact that the alleged abductors continue to be working at least somewhat to get the word out to local media?
It is interesting, isn't it, Kevin? Because obviously the kidnapping of Savannah Guthrie, an NBC News star, her mother, was going to garner national attention. And whoever's behind this decided to reach out to, as far as we know, 2 local TV stations here in the Tucson area, in addition to TMZ. They did not reach out to NBC, the employer of Savannah Guthrie. So only the person who's done this knows what the thinking is behind that, why those 2 local stations. There are other stations here. You asked about Spanish language. I cannot answer that question. I do not know. but it is compelling. And one of the stations received yet a second note. They did not release it to the public. They did tell us, though, one of their hosts went on one of the other networks and said that that note did not contain proof of life. It did not contain another deadline, and they really didn't go into much more detail.
Yeah, and that's the part that obviously the family is so desperate to see. We want to see proof of life so that, and again, they said in the video that we played, listen, we'll pay. We just want Nancy back. Stay on it for us, Alicia Acuna. We appreciate your time.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.